ChatGPT works best as a thinking partner, not a vending machine. It doesn't have the context unless you give it the context. That's why we want it to ask us questions so we can get all of our context into it. And even if it did give you answers, you're a powerful machine. So use your God-given, beautiful supercomputer that's attached to your body and let it sharpen you. You're using ChatGPT wrong. Here are 5 prompting tips that will change the game for you. So a lot of people are using AI just to get answers for things, quick answers. Nothing wrong with that per se. But ultimately, I have a better strategy for you. Essentially using ChatGPT almost as a business consultant and getting it to ask you questions and then answering it. The ultimate use of AI right now is figuring out ways to get your context from your business and your situation and your issues and what you're trying to get it to solve into ChatGPT so it can help you think through those things better. Not just using it for quick little answers. So my last video a few weeks ago on this, I talk about custom GPTs, and I strongly believe you should have a custom GPT with your top priorities, your business metrics, and your goals so I can help consult with you based on your situation. But I'm not going to go deep into that today. This is probably going to be my last solo episode for a little while of the Hook Better Leads podcast. Thank you all for doing a few of these with me while I'm on paternity leave. I'm going to get right into the tips here. If you haven't figured this out yet, this is a big unlock for me and for a lot of people. My tip number 1 is let it help build your prompt for you. So instead of just getting right into it, making this super detailed, crazy prompt, give it 5 good little nuggets and then say, hey, could you help me build a better prompt than this? This is what my idea is, but help me build a better prompt. I think for a while there, everyone was always like, okay, act as a seasoned copywriter, act as a prompt engineer. I don't know if that really matters now. I think that's kind of what was overdone a little bit. It's essentially, when you say act as this, sometimes it just dramatizes that for you versus if you ask it to help you build a prompt, that's a better use of your time. So let it build your prompt for you.
RoofCon is definitely the best conference I've ever attended, and I've been to several. We go to several every single year.
I bought the tickets. I said, we're going.
This year they broke 5,000 tickets, so it's growing bigger and bigger every single year.
If you're not here, I don't know where you're at.
Definitely coming back 2024. See you then.
RoofCon, the #1 conference for the roofing and solar community, is coming back to Orlando, October 23rd through 25th, 2024. Get your tickets today at roofcon.com.
Number 2, use voice mode and have it ask you questions one at a time. So a lot of times I'll just be like, I'll turn on voice mode and I'll be like, okay, I have this issue. Ask me questions one at a time. And that process of sitting there discussing something with it, getting it to ask unusual, novel questions. That's what I usually say, unusual, novel questions. Here's my issue. Here's my challenge. That essentially I'm thinking through, I'm answering these questions. I'm the one essentially recognizing that your brain is a supercomputer and you have the most context about your situation, and you should trust yourself and using AI to extract better thinking from you. I think part of me, the thing is that AI is still kind of a parlor trick. You know what I mean? It's not magical yet. It felt magical when we were all first starting to use it. And then the last few years, we all kind of recognized its limitations. But as a consultant, as somebody asking you questions, it's extremely powerful. It will help you unlock things. Tip number 3 is I say force different directions. So what I say is ask me questions one at a time. And I'll drop a full prompt with a lot of these things in the comments. So you can just go there and use that now if you'd like. But each one of the facets within that prompt are important unlocks, I think, for using ChatGPT better right now. So tip number 3 is to force different directions. To say, do not build on the previous answer. So you're asking it to ask you questions one at a time. But when you answer something, the default on ChatGPT seems to be all right, let's keep snowballing in this direction that this person just said something in. But I want this to be a creative brainstorm where there could be so many possible answers. I don't want it to snowball. And so I say, go in different directions every single time. Not only go in novel, creative directions to help unlock something for me, but do not build on the previous answer or the previous question. This will make a much better brainstorming tool for you. Tip number 4, push unusual angles. So you tell ChatGPT to look for novel, creative, or unusual angles to help you solve the issue or to help you work through this problem. There isn't a lot of like recognizing the limitations of ChatGPT is why this is all important, because it tends to do basic vanilla stuff. We all thought, ChatGPT 5 was going to blow all of our minds, and then it ended up being like maybe 10, 20% better. Some people even said ChatGPT 5 was worse. I think they're probably overstating that a little bit. I think it was a little bit to limit certain usage, essentially to throttle it in certain ways. So there is probably some truth to that. But by asking it to look for unusual or novel angles, I think you're kind of forcing it to crack the vanilla, boring approach on the brainstorm and getting it to maybe think more creatively. In my experience, it's definitely led to better answers. And part of this is like making it more engaging for you to have this conversation. So if I'm on voice mode and I'm having it ask me questions one by one, a lot of times I'll go for a walk. And I can go for a walk and be talking to this. Sure, I might pass a neighbor and they might think I'm a weirdo, but it's unlocking ideas for me. I'm thinking more creatively. It's like having a conversation with myself, but with these new questions, ways I wouldn't have asked myself maybe in the past. And the unusual angles piece is really important to make that more effective and engaging for me, because part of it is I want to engage with this for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes I'll be on a road trip or something. I was driving for a couple hours and I did this experiment I'm going to tell you about in a second.
Does your company want to build your brand and get more jobs in the neighborhoods you're currently working in?
The Brick by Brick playbook allows you to establish your brand, your reputation, and gain trust in any neighborhood in your service area with a series of 4 postcards sent once a week to the neighbors of your current jobs. If you want to get more work in the neighborhoods you're currently working in, get with the team at Dope Marketing and get your Brick by Brick playbook set up today.
But number 5 is feed it your frameworks. So examples, if you're on EOS, for instance, Entrepreneurial Operating System, Traction is the book. You could say, use principles from Traction in EOS. Use frameworks or use ideas from Hormozzi's theory of constraints. That's one I've been using lately. It's essentially like, go for the top constraint in the business, the most important constraint first, and try to solve that completely and utterly before moving on to the next constraint. And then another one that I think about a lot is Who Not How from Dan Sullivan. Essentially about, not thinking about how to fix something, but focusing on who should fix it, and then better delegation to make sure it's about the people and enabling those people, not about giving them every exact how to do it. So anyways, those are my frameworks, but you essentially use whatever frameworks you are thinking about all the time. If you have a business guru that you like, or somebody or a number of frameworks that you can kind of feed into it so it talks back to you in the languages and the kind of terminology that you're used to. And it'll allow you to be more effective and it'll end up giving you better advice. And then once you have it ask you these 10 questions in a row, or however many questions, without trying to give you answers, without building on itself, forcing different directions, pushing unusual angles, and kind of creative, novel approaches, using your frameworks, then you can start to say, all right, now give me some ideas, or what do you think my next step should be on fixing this, or what are some creative ways I should be thinking about this? And I mean, tons of bonuses here I could throw in there, but I'm always like, give me psychological principles, give me scientific studies, give me quotes from people like the people I respect that would help me understand and think about this in a more creative and effective way. ChatGPT works best as a thinking partner, not a vending machine. It doesn't have the context unless you give it the context. That's why we want it to ask us questions so we can get all of our context into it. And even if it did give you answers, you're a powerful machine. So use your God-given, beautiful supercomputer that's attached to your body and let it sharpen you, because that's our ultimate weapon, is our own brain. And this does work. Like, this has been super helpful for me. It's like I can take full books and use a book. I can put a book in ChatGPT and be like, consult with me based on this book. I can find a PDF for it, and so crazy. So I think there's certain use cases for ChatGPT that are just insanely powerful right now. I usually have it kind of act as a somewhat of a CBT therapist, cognitive behavioral therapy, and a business consultant. And I get it to kind of talk to me about both work and life, because they're really blended. But one last bonus here. Man, I have so many. But I was telling you, I was on this trip down in North Carolina, and I was going to the Outer Banks to fish, to do deep sea fishing with Marcus Sheridan, the author of The Ask You Answer. And on the way there, though, I had it play, basically like I told it to be a hypothetical boardroom. So you can have it role play as a boardroom with, let's say, 3 people you respect, and argue different points as if you really were them and their actual opinions based on what's available online, and where they would actually contradict each other, have them have arguments, and then have them choose a leader for the topic and present the idea. So for example, I could say, hey, I want you to role play and give dialogue as if you were Dan Sullivan and Alex Hormozy and Dan Martell, and you were having a discussion, an animated discussion about the topic that I have right now, which, let's say my number one constraint is net profit. And here are the obviously you got to feed it a bunch. Maybe do this after you fed it a bunch of answers, and then say role play as a boardroom between these 3 people you respect, and contradict and have arguments, and then have them choose a leader to present. I know it's a lot. I'm going to put the weird prompt for this bonus one in the comments too, but it's fun to try having it role play as a boardroom with 3 people you respect based on your actual business context. A few nuances there to make it kind of output. It sometimes does generic stuff and makes like kind of basic ideas. You got to push it. You got to keep on pushing it and be like, hey, no, try to use the actual opinions that they've expressed online for this particular topic, and have them maybe argue a little bit more or whatever. It's just fun to listen to conflicting ideas from hypothetical boardroom members on your business. So I'm not necessarily expecting you guys to remember all of these tips. So there are 2 large prompts in the description with these ideas. Now you will need to modify these to suit your situation. I'm going to leave a few kind of Mad Lib spots open, but in general, you might want to evolve these to your specific situation. But one is the Brainstorm consultant prompt, and you want to do that one on voice mode. I like doing it on a walk or on a drive. And 2, the hypothetical boardroom prompt, and both of them are fun in different ways. So I hope you guys enjoy, and ultimately be thinking about, hey, I'm not using this AI stuff to just do work for me that I wouldn't have. It's really about, hey, can I use AI to help me think better? And I think if you really recognize the limitations of AI and ChatGPT and start to use it for what it's good at, you'll use it to make you smarter, not just rely on it like you're cheating on a test in high school, right? Like it's cool that way, but it's not going to be a massive unlock for you until you use it to optimize your brain. So I hope you like this. And a lot of you probably are already kind of using it a little bit like this. I hope some of the tips in this will help you do it even better. And I hope you have a great one. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And of course, reach out to us if it's ever appropriate. We have a very AI forward company. We're constantly innovating. We're using AI all throughout our business. We're getting better and better at optimizing for ChatGPT as well. So waitlist is started right now for our AEO service, answer engine optimization. Current clients have priority, and the waitlist, there'll be a max of 15 people initially to sign up or to get this new service, because we're building it out and making sure it's premium, as all of our services are. Otherwise, we do SEO, PPC, and web design, everything Google right now, and we're capable of helping you be aggressive and taking that stuff off your plate. And I think the fact that we've got a pretty big team now, I think we're at like 43 or 44 as of today, which is wild, but we have experts in every position, and we're still not that big corporate agency. I think we are really strong on customer service. We'd love to service you if we're not working together. Why aren't we working together? If you've been watching this content, why aren't we working together? I would love to be of service to you. I think we have options for all different budgets, down to like that $1 million company size. And then we've got huge companies working with us as well. And I do want us to, we're learning how to be very good with larger companies and your issues as well. So appreciate everyone watching, and like, comment, subscribe. As always, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
They're so thorough with every detail of the website. Working with Hook, the design is probably 50x better than any other design I've ever had. Their team is super communicative, and I mean this genuinely. I'm happy to pay you guys to work with us. It's been a tremendous experience.